This conference will now be recorded.
So in the last class, we started with Angular framework. The main news of going with Angular is to develop the front-end web application platform. So the content, whatever we want to display onto the browser window, we can do by using this Angular. And we have seen the Angular setup. So to work with Angular, the first thing what you require, Node.js. Then the second one, a text editor like Visual Studio Code, any editor which can open folders. So we have used Visual Studio Code. And finally, Angular CLI. And we have created one Angular project. We have created this Angular project. So once you create your project, how to compile our application, compile and run, just we have to use the command ngserv. In our project folder, we have to use ngserv. Then after successful compilation, we have to open the browser and type the URL http://localhost4200. So this is the result we are getting from Angular. And what is the topmost component? Once we open this Angular project in our Visual Studio Code, whenever we run Angular project, it goes to index.html file. In index.html file, it goes to this app root. App is the root component. See here, app.component.ts, app component is a root component. And the way to enter into this component is by using the selector app root. And the template means the presentation of app component is done in app.component.html. And what is the use of these two curly braces? To take it is for data binding, to take the value of these properties. And the styling is done by using app.component.css file, right? Now, how to terminate the compilation? Control C, which will come back to prompt again. Today we will be discussing three topics. One is Angular directives, and one more Angular forms, and one more very important one, Angular routing. Let us initially go with Angular directives. We are having the Angular directives like star ngFor and star ngif are Angular directives. Let us understand using an example application. For this, we need to create a new component. Create a new component. How to create component at your prompt or terminal? We have to use the command ng generate component. I'm going with the component name address. So by default, app component will be created, and that is the root component. And what are the new components we are going to create? It will be created under app component. So this address component will be created under app component. And whenever you want to create a new component, we have to use the command ng generate component and the component name. So the important files here as address.component.ts, where we hold the data, the business logic we can do. Address.component.html, this is for presentation and styling. Address.component.css. Let us do this step now. How to create component at your prompt or terminal? Use the command ng generate component address. Press enter key. So which is going to create the component address under say app folder only. So everything you can find under src. Now open Visual Studio Code. Here you can see under app, you can see a new folder address. If you expand this, you can see the files address.component.ts, address.component.html, address.component.css file. Now, coming to this address component, we are having the class address component. Export. The meaning of export is like public. So I can use this class in some other programs also. I can create object of this class and use it. So it's like public concept here, export is. Now, here in address component, let us go with the property user of type any. In constructor, so how to create constructors in TypeScript? Just by using the word constructor here. So in the constructor, we'll say this dot user. This dot user means we are referring to this property user. This dot user equal to, since we said type any, we can store any type of values. Like for this user, we go with the name of the user, name, designation or address. Let me go with address, with some address, phone. This is important here, phone. So let us suppose the user is having multiple phones. How to manage multiple data using arrays? How to create arrays in TypeScript? Just using square brackets. In square brackets, you can pass the values. So we are going with multiple phone numbers. So here for this user, we are going with 3 separate properties. One is name of the user, address and phone here. Phone, it's like an array where we are storing multiple phones. Now I want to display this content onto the browser. So whenever you want to display this content onto the browser, in which file we have to work? Address.component.html. In address.component.html, we take care of the presenting the data. Now, here let us create a division. Division means collection of HTML elements, a part of area of your web page. So in this division, let us display user.name. We are taking the value of name property user.name, h4 user.address. Next, let us create a division again where we want to display the phone. We want to display the phone. Since phone is an array, so how to access array elements using indexes. Here we will see user dot phone of 0. So we are going with index based. Then user dot phone of 1. We are displaying 2 phone numbers. So we are displaying the content of user like name, address and phone here. Now let us go with the styling. How to do styling? CSS file. In CSS file, so let us provide the styling for h3 element. Text align. Let us go with only color. By default, it is left align. Text color is red. And for h4, let us go with the color as green. And for paragraph, color as blue. I'm changing the colors. Once the code is ready, come to your prompt and which command we have to use to compile our application? ngset. ngset. Now once the compilation is completed, it's successful, come to browser and reload this page. Reload localhost 4200. So it is loading only app component. This is the content of app. So address component is not getting loaded because once we run the application, once it returns it to project, it will load only app.component.html and it is stopping over here only. So from here I should enter into address component. So what is the element to enter into address component? App address. So this element we have to use over here in app.component.html to load address component. We have to say app address. That's it. Now see, we're getting see address component. So this part of area is what? So a web page is divided into some components. So this is your app component. This is app component. And this part of area is what? This part of area is your address component. So a web page is divided into components. So this is your address component. Right? Clear up to here? Now, let us understand about Angular directives. Here in this address.component.html, if I add one more phone number, then is that new phone number displaying for us here? No. How to make it display? We have to go to this address.component.html. Again, we have to use the paragraph element and say user.phone of 2. User.phone of 2. Then only the next phone number will get displayed here. Means whenever my component is getting updated. So whenever the component is getting updated, every time I'm going to this HTML file and modifying the code. Right? So instead of this, we can make use of Angular directives. Means I should traverse our phone array. So let me keep this code in comments for your reference. Control slash will make the code comment. Control slash comment the code to comment the code. Okay. Now let us create a division. Here we're having this phone. Now here's paragraph star ng for. Whenever you want to traverse your array, we use star ng for equal to let phone number of user.phone. Let phone number of user.phone. So what is this user.phone? Your array. So it will go to this array, pull out one value and stores into phone number and just display that phone number. Just display the phone number. That's it. So this will be repeated for 3 times because we are having 3 phone numbers. So this is the way to traverse your arrays using the directive ngFor. Now see, we are getting the same result. Now if I go with only 2 phone numbers, I need not touch our code. It's going to display 2 phone numbers. If I go with one phone number, I need not touch the code. See here, it is displaying one phone number. If there are no phone numbers, then see, it is displaying label only phone. Now understand carefully. I don't want to display this phone label if there are no phone numbers. Means if the length of this array is empty, if it is 0, then I don't want to display this even label phone also. Then in that case, I don't want to display this division if there are no phone numbers. If the length of the array is empty, 0. So how to check here? This division, if ngIf equal to user.phone length, the length of this array is greater than 0, then only this division need to be displayed. So whenever you want to check condition, we use ngIf here. Now see, we won't get any label phone here. So this division will get displayed only if the length of this phone array is greater than 0. Now let us add the phone numbers. Now see, we get the phone numbers as we added the phone numbers here. So for iterating your arrays, we use this ngFor, and if you want to check for some conditions, we use ngIf. Clear this concept, all of you? Any questions? Now, let us move to the next one. Angular forms. And here one more file which you need to refer, app.component.html. This is updated. The next concept here, Angular forms. Angular forms are used to accept user input and submit the form data to the component. Once we accept the user input using form, we can submit that form data to component to process the data. That very important statement. To use Angular forms, we need to add forms module. We need to add forms module into app.module.ts file. App.module.ts file. So whenever we want to use Angular forms in our applications, in our project, we need to add which module? Forms module. See here. Under SRC, everything you can find under SRC. Under SRC, you can see app. So in this app, you can see a file, say app.module.ts. Okay. So in this, we need under this imports, we need to add a module, forms module. See, while typing only, you'll get see forms module. So select and press enter key so that the respective input will happen automatically. Right. So this line of code we need to add so that the input will happen also automatically. If it is not happening, type it manually. Now, let us go with the example application. Create a new component, book, ng generate component book. The shortcut is ngdc. This is shortcut way of doing. Instead of typing the complete word generate component, you can even simply use 2 characters JC. That's it. And to create component, the important files are book.component.html, book.component.ts TypeScript file. Styling, I'm leaving to you. You can work on styling. Then one more, whenever we create new component, we need to add it to app.component.html. Let us generate the component, terminate the compilation, Control C. Now, whenever you want to create new component, ng generate component, I'm going with the name book. Now, let us go to the files. Here and under app, you can see a subfolder book. If you expand this, you can find see book.component.html, book.component.ts file. So this CSS you manage. Now, coming to this book.component.html, let us create a form. How to create a form HTML file? We use form tag, right? We use form tag. And to indicate that the form, whatever we are creating, it is an Angular form. It is an Angular form means how to indicate is, let's select this hash book equal to ng form. Ng form. So we are making it as ng form and the ID given to the form is book. Book is ID given to the form. Then submit. How to go with submit? Ng submit means once you click on the submit button. Once you click on the submit button, we want to invoke a function. On click submit. On click submit, and we'll see a book.value. So what is this book.value? I'll elaborate. So ng submit means what? When you click on submit function, sorry, submit button, it goes to the function on click submit function. Now design the form. Book ID, input type equal to text, name equal to BID, and very important one, square bracket parenthesis ng model equal to BID. So what is this ng model is? This we call it as two-way data binding. This we call two-way data binding. Means the data will go from our form to component. Again, it comes back from component to model form here. Both the directions. Both the directions we apply using ng model. So first of all, the data what we enter here in this field, it will come and store into this component BID. We have to create here. It will come to component and again comes back to this BID variable. Two-way data binding. Book name, input type equal to text, name equal to bname, and ng model equal to bname. Next one, book price, input type equal to text, name equal to price, ng model equal to price. Now create one submit button, input type equal to submit, value equal to submit. Now once we click on this submit button, it's going to invoke what? And submitting your form, it's going to invoke a function on click submit. And what is this book.value? What is the ID given to this form? Book. So when you say book.value, this book.value holds three values: BID, bname, and price. All these book details are present in this book.value. Just the ID given to this form is book here. Now coming to this book.component.ts, let us go with the properties here. BID, it's of type string with an empty space. Bname, it's of type string with an empty string. Size with an empty string. Right? So we are creating three variables: properties, BID, bname, and price. Now the data what we have entered in this form, these values should come and store into these three properties. So for that we have to create one function on click submit. This is a function we are referring on click submit. To this we have to pass our book.value. So pass here book of type any. Now the data what you are having in this book should go and store into these three properties. Now you can see this dot bid equal to book.bid. So the value what we have entered in the text field BID will come and store into the property BID. Similarly, this dot bname equal to book.bname, this dot price equal to book.price. So when this function is invoked, then these three properties are ready with values. Now the data present in these three properties, I want to display in tabular format. So go to where to do the presentation again, book.component.html, and now let us display the data in tabular format. So let us create a division. Here we go with a table, border, and go with the caption. Caption means the heading of your table, book details. Then create a table row. In the first row, we go with the table heading, book ID, and table data, the value of book ID. How to take the value of book ID? Data binding, BID. Similar way, go with other rows. Name, CD, the value of bname. price, feeding the value of your price. That's it. Okay. Now whenever we create new component, we have to go to this app.component.html. I don't want to display this app address, so keep the code in comments, control slash. Then I want to load book component, so app book. What is the selector name to enter into the book component? App book. Now see, once we come to this browser, sorry, here we have to compile our project first. ngserv. So once the compilation is successful, refresh our page. Localhost 4200. So it is displaying the form. Fill the data. While typing only, we are getting the results here. While typing only, we are getting the result because we have applied what? Two-way data binding. So since we have applied two-way data binding, once we type the data, it will immediately connect to your component and fills the data, and that data is getting displayed back to us immediately. Even if you click on submit also, we get same result. Okay, clear? Any questions? If you practice only, you can remember about Angular. Somewhat different approach to develop the applications. So you have to practice it compulsory. Terminate your compilation, Control C. Let us move to the next and very important topic here, Angular routing. What is the use of routing? Routing is used to navigate between the pages. What is the main use of routing? Routing is used to develop single page applications. Routing is used for what? To develop what? Single page applications. So what is single page application? Instead of reloading the complete component, whenever you make a request, instead of loading the complete web page once again, only the part of web page can be reloaded. So here, if you take the example of our Angular official homepage, here you can see it is divided into some components. So this part of array is one component, this part of array is one component, this part of array is one component, like this. Now see, when you click here understanding Angular overview, so only this part of array is getting reloaded, say components, component lifecycle. So only part of the area will get reloaded. So instead of loading the complete web page. So this type of only we call single page applications. And how single page applications are developed in Angular? Using routing. Now let us go with the application. Create the following new components. ng generate component home, ng generate component about, ng generate component dashboard. We are creating totally 3 components. We are not worried about the code under these components. Okay, we are understanding about the routing concept here. So just to create the components, let us do this step. ng generate component home, ng generate component about, ng generate component dashboard. So we have totally created 3 components. Let us create the major important file here. Create a router configuration file, router config.ts, a TypeScript file in app folder. In app folder, we have to create one file, any name, the file name can be anything, router config.ts. Under app, I click on app folder and say new file. New file. Let us go with the name router config.ts. Okay. Now start writing the code. We have to select this. Export. Export means it's similar to public keyword of Java. Constant app routes. App routes. Routes. We are creating one constant variable app routes. It's of what type? Routes. So select and press enter key. Then only the import will happen automatically. It's of type routes equal to in square brackets here path. If the path is home, then we have to load the component home component. I'll explain what is this path again. Next one. If the path is about, then we have to load the component about component. If the path is dashboard, then we have to load the component dashboard component. Okay. So we are creating one constant variable app routes and it's of type routes, and we are providing three paths here. We are providing three paths. I'll elaborate these paths again. I'll come back to this file and elaborate again. Once we create this router configuration file, our next step is update app.module.ts file. Update app.module.ts file by adding the router module. By adding the router module. Here, go to this app.module.ts file. In this app.module.ts file, under this imports, we need to add the router module like this. Router module dot for root. To this for root, we have to pass our app routes. So select and press enter key, then only the respective imports will happen. So we are adding router module under imports of app.module.ts file. We are calling a method for root. To this, we are passing app routes. What is our app routes? The app routes constant variable what we have created, it's of type routes. This app routes we are adding to this router module. The next step, update app.component.html file. App.component.html. Go to this app.component.html. Let me comment this app book as we don't want to display book component. Now here, create a division style equal to align center. We are creating a division and the alignment of complete division is center. Now let us create one navigation. Navigation means it goes with some set of hyperlinks. Here we are creating a navigation like router link. We are creating one hyperlink. Router link equal to home, and the hyperlink name is home. Create one more router link about. One more hyperlink equal to dashboard. Now understand carefully. And finally, we have to add one more to make our routing work. We have to use the element router outlet. So when you call this element router outlet, then only your routing is going to work. Predefined element in Angular. Now understand carefully. Now when you click on this hyperlink home, what is the router link name? Home. Then it comes to this router config file, sees the path as home. So in this app routes, we have defined the paths here. So what is this path name? This router link name. So whatever the router link name we have taken, now this one. So when you click on this home hyperlink, the router link name is home, goes to router config file and sees the path as home, then home component will be loaded in our web page. Now when you click on this about, hyperlink about, the router link name is about, goes to this router config file, sees the path as about and about component will be loaded. Similarly, when you click on dashboard, the router link name is dashboard, comes to this router config file, sees the path as dashboard and it's going to load dashboard component. That's it. So that's the use of this app routes. Based on the path what you click, it's going to load the respective components in our web page. Now the next step, compile the project in GSR, open browser and type the following URL: http://localhost:4200. Let us compile this in this cell. Then once the compilation is successful, open browser, reload this page 4200 here. So this part of array is one component. So what is this component here? App component. This is our app component. Now when you click on this home, see here, it's loading home component. See, this is fixed. The app component area is fixed. It's not reloading again. So when you click on home, only home component is getting loaded. When you click on about component is getting loaded. Dashboard component is getting loaded. So it's a single page application. So whenever I make a request, instead of loading the complete web page, only part of array is getting reloaded. So this type of applications only we call single page applications. And how to develop single page applications in Angular? By using router module routing, by using the concept of routing. Clear this application, all of you? Now we have to go to the respective component and update the code based on our requirement, the content what you want to display. Like example, let me go with home component. How to open home component? Expand this home and see the file home.component.html. So this content is getting displayed to us. Now let us go with our content. Welcome to XYZ trainings. Courses offered. The UL type equal to square li programming languages, li databases, li web technologies. So some content I'm creating. Now see, once we save, if you come back to your browser and reload this, see it, automatically we are getting right. See, so this is about dashboard and this is home. So the content of home is getting displayed. But is it looking good here? No. So we have done only presentation. Now we have to style our web page. Styling is done using what? CSS. See here how to do CSS. Open this home.component.css. Now provide the styling. For h3 element, we'll say text align left. Why the content is coming in center align before? Because in this component we have created division, complete content we are displaying center. That's the reason the content is coming in center aligned. Okay, now we are making it left here. In home.component.css file, we are making text align as left and go with the color red. Paragraph element, text align, say left, color green. Next, UL element, text align left, color So for this, let us even go with font size 20 pixels. Right? Now, once we provide the styling, see how good the content is coming here. Okay, about. Similarly, we go to about and modify the content. Dashboard, modify the content. Home, we are getting this. Clear the need of CSS concept? Right? So please practice this. Routing is very, very important one. Please practice. Okay. Then tomorrow we go with the last part where we discuss very, very important module of Angular, that is Angular HTTP client module. Using this HTTP client module, we can invoke a service running on Java server. So we create one REST API using Spring Boot. Then we are going to invoke that REST API from our Angular. So Angular will take care of doing the presentation. So such application we will be developing in tomorrow's class. And tomorrow is our last day. So please join. And at the end, I'll be giving some more points related to what we need to do in the next. Okay. All right. Thank you all.